So in the spirit of Valentine's Day, I've taken our Valentine's couple and I'm making them a Valentine's themed house. By that I mean just everything is pink or red, because that's the easiest way to try and do Valentine's. Actually, I realise that I look at this now, this house looks almost identical to another one I built only a few days before. Maybe that wasn't such a good idea, but hey ho, this is the second video I've made for Valentine's Day, so I have already spoken a little bit about what Valentine's Day means for me. So I remember there was something I didn't mention was a date that I went on, and we've all, I'm sure most of us have had like at least one nightmare date at some point, if you do the whole dating thing. It wasn't really something I thought I was into, but when I look back now, I guess it was, because I have been on a few dates. But there was a few years ago, well, yeah, quite a few years ago now, I was at a pub in Reading, and I was outside, and I was on my own, so I just sat on this bench, and there were a few guys there, and we were just kind of chatting and talking to each other and just having a bit of a laugh. And then I went back to the pub to go and sit with my friends, and the guy that I was talking to, he came straight up to me, and bless him, at the time I really did, I really felt for him, because I was sat with a group of like 30 people, and a mixture of girls and boys, and bless him, he came straight up to me in front of everyone and was like, you know, it was really nice talking to you. He asked me for my number, said he'd like to take me out sometime, and like all of my friends, well, the girls were all like, oh, you have to give him his number. So my number, so I gave it to him, and then the following day he texted me, and I thought, oh, he's keen. And he asked if I wanted to go and grab a drink or something. So I was like, okay, fine. And you know, when you're just not really, I mean, I wasn't really feeling it at first anyway, but I kind of thought, you know, bless him, like it must be intimidating. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't walk up to someone when they're sat in a big group and just ask for their number. So I kind of thought, you know, maybe he likes me. So I met up with him at a train station in town, because that's what Reading's like. There is one town, and he looked a bit rough, to be honest. This was the day after I had met him, so things were moving pretty quickly. And yeah, he didn't look great, but not as in he, like the way he looked as in his actual appearance. He just looked like he'd had a rough night. And so yeah, I met up with him, said hello, and he was like, oh, I know this like coffee bar, let's go there. So I was like, okay. And as we were walking there, he was telling me that he was feeling quite rough, and he was really hungover, because he was like, well, you know, last night was actually quite a lucky night for me, because I got your number, but then I also pulled. And yeah, I banged this girl last night. And I was like, okay, well, lucky boy, wow. So at that point I kind of thought maybe this ain't for me. But anyway, I'm not really the type to ditch someone. Like, you hear these stories about people that run out on their date, and I just could never do that, because, you know, don't get me wrong, like I know the heartache that rejection causes, and I didn't have it in me to do that. So I thought, okay, well, I'll just see how this goes. Yeah, it wasn't great, to be honest. We went for a walk along this like riverside place, and as we were walking, he was like, oh, I really need a piss, do you mind if I just go to the toilet? And I was like, no, that's fine. So he just got his cock out and just started pissing in the river right in front of me. And and then he told me that he was studying something to do with feminism. He said he was studying not women's rights, but something to do with like women's history or something like that, which I thought was interesting given what he had told me a few moments before. But yeah, he was learning about all of that. And it was just a really awkward really awkward date. Like, I get anxiety in general anyway, but I'd like to think I'm not really that awkward of a person. Like, if I'm on a date with someone, I kind of have this rule, which is like, before I go out, I'll think about some funny stories to bring up, and that will kind of give us something to talk about. But yeah, it was just really awkward. And yeah, needless to say, I didn't see him again. So that's Valentine's story for you all. Anyway, we're at the end of the video now, so thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. Bye bye.